time offer, so don't wait. Call us at 656-PURE.
Check them out at KineticoSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Kinetico.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Houston Texans defensive end Will Anderson Jr. was named the AFC's Defensive Player of the Week for his 3-sack performance in New England against the Patriots. Daniel Rossini of The Athletic reported from the NFL owners' meetings that yesterday Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said as far as the upcoming November 5th trade deadline, the Cowboys will not be active. Also reported no changes to any coaches or coordinators.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Dad? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thank you all for joining me. However, y'all may be joining, whether that is on 94.1 on your FM dial. If you are listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you are watching on our YouTube page, all of our shows stream live on YouTube at SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment along with the show. Bunch of people already up in here, including Frank Mateo, Fred Records, Miguel Martinez, Robert Casares, Jacob Eric. Appreciate all of y'all for stopping through, commenting along, throwing a like on the like button. It is appreciated by all. And my goodness, yesterday was a heck of a day not to have a show after Jerry goes on the radio. And my goodness gracious, and this is a huge part of it, but just a small snippet. Basically, where he threatens the guys at 105.3 The Fan's job in Sean and RJ.
Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something, and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why. Job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
He's not kidding. And he doubled down later that night from the owners' meetings in Atlanta with Diana Rossini. And it was, the double down made it look even worse as the morning huddle with Rob and AJ discussed that double down earlier this morning.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Jerry Jones. He's not a happy suit. No, he's not. He explained himself to Diana Rossini on The Athletic.
He's got to do some damage control today. I know it's going to go against every fiber of his being. But he's going to have to come out and be a little bit, as he would say, contrite.
He said, I don't know if I would go as far as calling the volume connotation as yelling. Okay. But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. Again, I can take it from fans and take it from other people. I take a lot of pride in how fair and how much I try to work with the media. We're brothers and sisters, but I was a little frustrated there. We got in there as of accounting for decisions made in the offseason, okay? They might as well have gone back to decisions made in 2010. My point is, that's from my perspective. There's no question. I'm sure they would have liked to have grilled me like the fans are thinking. What are you going to do about that? I get it. I get all of that, and really we'll go along with it. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, or if there had been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, I might have had a different answer. So Sean and RJ, not football people.
He's not contrite. And he doubled down on the people I'm paying.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, 105.3 is an Odyssey radio station. It's
Yeah.
not a Jerry Jones radio. They happen to be the flagship of the Dallas Cowboys network, but Jerry doesn't have anything to do with their employment other than the strength and power of the Dallas Cowboys as their flagship. That's throwing your wallet around.
Again, like you said, he's holding on to it. He's gonna die on that hill.
From that? So who is allowed? Who is allowed to question Jerry?
People who don't have the platform to do it. Real fans.
Real fans.
Yeah. It's like I'll hear this from a real fan. Well, how are they going to get that question to you?
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Like the idea is that radio guys can kind of be the voice of the fan in a way.
In fact, you're
I consider you
right.
the voice of the fan.
So are you. But even Sean and RJ yesterday go, I don't know why you're so mad at us. We're just asking you the questions that fans want to have.
That's it. They want to know what's going on. Well, I don't know, man. It's not. There's no pleasant way to get out of this thing.
So I thought the brain trust, the smart folks with the Cowboys media conglomerate would get together and go, all right, here's our plan. We're going to put you in the car wash. You're going to see Rossini. We'll get you on McAfee. We'll get you on the shows. And you come out and laugh it off. Say, hey, man, coffee was bad. Hey, and you're right. I have a right to be mad. I'm upset. My team screwed up.
We blew it.
And just carry on. You blew that. So now you got to go get on your boat and go away. Well, the best thing Jerry can do right now is disappear. Go and get on someplace and act like this is truly a bye and go away, because obviously you are still off kilter. You're still not seeing it.
That was the Morning Huddle's reaction to Jerry's double down on his comments. And I'm going to give you my take coming up in a little bit. I'm going to let you hear the extent of what everybody had to say about this morning, including the Blitz and what they said about Jerry's double down a little bit earlier this afternoon. And of course, who I consider one of the preeminent voices of the fan, editor-in-chief, Rock the Mic champ, RJ Ochoa. This was a bad look, and I will get into exactly all the reasons why coming up. But next, I'm going to let you hear what Jason and Joe had to say about Jerry's double down and how bad it actually makes him look from their perspective. That's coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pleasure, right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Real estate is out of control. Between guaranteed offer programs and new laws about agent commissions, it's gotten so confusing. Know what's not confusing? Paying someone a low flat fee to sell your house. And that's where Listing Spark comes in. Listing Spark is Texas' flat fee real estate company. Flat fee selling is sweeping the nation because it's faster and it keeps more money in your pocket. In fact, professional real estate investors have known about it for years. With Listing Spark, you don't have to pay hefty agent commissions, and you don't have to leave money on the table. If you have a house worth $400,000, you actually sell it for $400,000 without paying $24,000 in agent commissions. And get this, if you get started today with Listing Spark, you can list with a local brokerage for as low as $395. Contact Listing Spark today to find out how much your home is worth for free. See, it's simple. Call 800-MLS-LIST or go to listingspark.com. That's listingspark.com. Listing Spark. Thousands of Texan homeowners agree. Selling's better with a low flat fee.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey guys, it's AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Guys, excited to tell you about my friends over at SA Card House. They're located right off of 281 at Bitters, and this is the best card house in all of San Antonio. This is a premier poker experience. I got used to playing online in Vegas, and then every once in a while I'd go out, I'd get in the casino and play cards. I'm so excited to be back in a place where I can get my hands on the cards, sit down at the table, feel the feel of the table, feel those chips. You gotta love it. This is a private social club. They're open 7 days a week, and they're open all hours of the night. So you get up whatever hours you're working, you get off work, you want to go play some poker, great. You work in the mornings, you want to play in the afternoon, great, like me. It's a great time, great atmosphere, a clean place, which is a big deal for me, and they welcome every skill level. On top of that, they've got a bar and grill, Foster's Bar and Grill attached. You don't have to be a member to dine. 5-star chefs on hand with nightly specials. The food is incredible. Check them out and check them out online, sacardhouse.com.
The 149th Fighter Wing of the Texas Air National Guard is hiring both full and part-time positions with over 180 different career choices, including cyber, healthcare, communications, avionics, electronics, and more. The Texas Air National Guard offers a variety of ways you can serve. Earn education benefits that would cover tuition towards a bachelor's degree. To learn more, Google the 149th Fighter Wing. That's the 149th Fighter Wing of the Texas Air National Guard.
It's homecoming for the UTSA Roadrunners. This Saturday, be at the Alamo Dome as the Roadrunners host Florida Atlantic in their homecoming family weekend game presented by UT Health San Antonio. It's also their Salute to Healthcare game where healthcare workers can get buy one, get one tickets. Tickets starting at just $21. It's the UTSA Roadrunners hosting FAU this Saturday in the Dome. Visit GoUTSA.com to secure your tickets now. UTSA football, it's more than a game. It's an experience.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Whew. I tell you, Jerry seems stressed out by that interview. And maybe even the backlash he's starting to get. Frank Mateo says Jerry Jones should do First Take with Shannon and Stephen A. He'd watch that. Fred Robert Casares Jr. on our YouTube live feed says Jerry Jones is like Dan Snyder now. That's bad. Jerry Jones hated Dan Snyder. Look, this is an awful look by Jerry Jones. And it's made even worse by his statements later in the night after he'd had time to cool down. Jason and Joe were talking about his double down earlier in the day and how bad it looks for him optically.
Jerry Jones doubled down on his tirade yesterday, talking at the owners' meetings with Diana Rossini. There's a great article on The Athletic, co-written by Diana Rossini and our buddy John Machota. And I think Jerry made a bad situation worse, because I do fully expect Jerry at some point to apologize to Sean and RJ up there on 105.3 The Fan. But man, did he double down in a bad way, because he says he doesn't want to, quote, the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by guys I'm paying. Now, to my knowledge, Jerry Jones does not pay Sean and RJ.
No.
They work for 105.3 The Fan, which is owned by Odyssey. Like this radio station, we're owned by Alpha Media. We do have a business relationship with the Dallas Cowboys, but they don't cut us a check. I've never gotten a check with the Cowboys logo on it. Thank goodness, because I probably wouldn't cash it. I'd frame it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd want that Dak Prescott check.
Well,
I'd like to have that one.
I would just like for, you put his check into my account by accident.
That's too bad.
I remember there used to be a guy named Dave Robinson that worked for the Spurs. Everybody called him Wave.
Yep.
And he said one time he got the wrong paycheck.
Whose did he get?
David Robinson.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you look at the idea, one, Jerry, there is a business relationship you have with the Fan, but you don't pay those guys. And my first thought when I saw that is, one, is Jerry saying he always needs to be surrounded by yes guys? Because that's BS, and that's very different than the Jerry I've known all these years in working with him in the media and his relationship with the media. Two, little Danny Snyder at one point didn't like the coverage he was getting for his Washington Redskins, so he bought a radio station so he could control the message.
Well, I mean, that's the way to do it. Then you are technically working for the Washington Commanders or Redskins or whatever you want to call them.
Well, they were Redskins at the time.
Redskins at the time. So then you kind of have to follow their rules. But when it comes to 105.3 The Fan, they don't have to do that. Look, I was in a similar situation at Ken's TV with the San Antonio Spurs. When we broadcast the games and when we were on, you could not criticize or say anything bad about the San Antonio Spurs. That's just the way, those were the rules. You couldn't do it. And
hang on. So when you were doing a Spurs broadcast, in your regular
otherwise
10 p.m. reporting,
yes,
you could.
I could. That is correct.
If you have listened to Brad Sham over the years broadcasting games, you know damn well Brad Sham has the freedom to say what he wants and speak his mind and describe what he is seeing. And when he sees stuff on the field, he's going to say that was stuff. Brad Sham has always been that way. Mickey Spagnola, who's going to join us in about 10 minutes, has always told me, and we'll ask him about it and, have the rules changed, but you can be critical as long as you're fair. The only rule for Cowboys media is you can't break news, which is very different than most other teams' media departments, whether it's website, social. It's you go read DallasCowboys.com. Mickey Spagnola through the years has been very critical of things that the Cowboys have done, that Jerry has done.
Right.
Nick Eatman, all of them. So this whole thing was very much a surprise when he went on that tirade yesterday, but then doubling down yesterday afternoon in Atlanta with Diana Rossini, saying he doesn't mind having being grilled by fans or football guys, but not those two.
See, and I don't understand that because you have to define real fans. And then he says real fans. So he's obviously saying that those guys who work for 105.3 The Fan are not real fans. And I'm not sure that you could actually say that because I'm sure that they are. Now, he could come to this radio station, and even though I'm a fan, I'm very critical of the Dallas Cowboys. You, on the other hand, are not. And
whoa. You're so full of crap. I mean, look, I
knew that'd get a rise.
I am a real fan, but I call it how I see it. And when it's time to be critical of the Cowboys, I am.
I knew that'd get a rise out of you.
But I also try to look at it at times from Jerry Jones. Like the whole Dak Prescott thing.
I love Jerry Jones. I do. And I've said that. I think he's great. I think he's been good for that. And I know fans are, fans are just like, well, we get rid of Jerry Jones, everything will be fine. I'm not sure that that's the case. However, I know people are really pissed off at Jerry Jones. And maybe they have a reason to be, maybe not. But what he did yesterday to the radio guys at the Fan, and then again doubling down, is just uncalled for.
Well, and I got
unlike him.
And I got to say this. For Sean and RJ, 105.3 The Fan, Odyssey in Dallas, what a huge win that they got yesterday.
True.
I mean, you look at where they are in the market. Everybody in the world is talking about those two. I imagine their ratings are going to skyrocket.
Sure.
They're in a market with 1310 The Ticket in Dallas that literally this week won the Marconi Award, which makes it the radio station of the year. In all formats, not just sports, but all formats, major market, they won the Marconi. And the week that they win that award, the boys on 105.3 The Fan get this, where everybody in the world is talking about them. It's a win for Odyssey. It might not feel like it, but, for Jerry to say, quote, the wrong ones were doing the questioning. No, if those had been real fans sitting there, or if there had been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, I might have answered differently. Now, okay, I mean, Sean, RJ, Bobby Belt, all those guys, apparently not football guys. Because what, they don't work in the front office? Real fans? It just, I think Jerry made him, he looked bad to begin with yesterday morning, and he doubled down, and he looks worse in the afternoon.
Well, that comment is ridiculous. I mean, it really is, because again, you have to define real fans. Somebody walks up to him in a coffee shop and is critical of him. Is that a real fan? You can answer their questions.
But, Jerry could tell them to F off.
Well, but he won't do that because, I mean, look, if they're real fans, and you heard him yesterday in that interview, he said, I'm not talking to those two yahoos. I'm talking to you, the fans. And I'm not sure exactly, because I listened to the whole interview. Are a big part of it, and especially the one that's in question. And the question was, they were relaying what they had heard from the fans to Jerry. I mean, it wasn't their question. It was like, fans have been critical of you because you didn't do anything in the offseason. You're not spending any money, and yada, yada, yada. And so he was relaying what he's heard, or they've heard on 105.3 The Fan to Jerry. And so it was very unfair, first of all, of Jerry Jones to be critical that way to those guys when that's all that they were doing, because they hear from the fans every day, just like we do.
And they were doing their job.
That's exactly right.
They were doing their job, and they do their job well. They've been doing it for a long time, and doing it with Jerry for a long time. And that's part of it too. I think Jerry's probably very comfortable with those guys.
Sure.
And that probably played a factor into it. Bad situation made worse in the afternoon. And again, as well as you and I both know, Jerry, I do expect an apology later. Although, boy, after hearing that last night, maybe he just really is pissed. I mean, at other things.
Well, I think he is. I think he's pissed. I think he's frustrated. I think there's a lot of things going on. And look, he hears the chirping. He's heard it all off season. I know he has. Because Jerry listens. Jerry is a very media-friendly guy, and that's why this is such a weird situation, because this kind of stuff with Jerry Jones just doesn't happen. And so that's why everybody's kind of freaking out by what the hell's going on with Jerry Jones.
I think it's squirrel, look over here.
And there may be something to that squirrel look over here, but I don't think he needed to paint himself in that bad a light to do it. Look, Jerry kept saying he wants to hear from the fans. He wants to talk to the fans. I don't think he does, because they got a lot worse things to say than what Shannon RJ did. And that is 100% true. I see y'all in the comments already. Billy Dow on our YouTube live says we should start looking at the real game this week, the Texans and Pack. We're going to, coming up a little bit later in the show. But as far as it pertains to Jerry Jones, and this is what I really want to get into about it. And you heard Jason mention the fact that Dan Snyder did this, and he bought a station to where basically he could spew, at the time, Washington Redskin propaganda. Nothing bad could be said about the team. Everything had to go through a conduit to get out, to make sure that it was what the message they wanted getting out. And we saw recently from that guy that got caught going on a date on a private camera about, being able to say, there wasn't sewage falling on them, leaking on them from, busted pipes and stuff like that. By Jerry saying this, the one thing that he's always had the plausible deniability of was the media was able to be fair, honest, critique. He would take it. He would go out. He would answer questions. Nothing ever felt filtered with his comments about getting people fired and wanting to replace the hosts. That gives the perception, and some of us are close enough to the Cowboys where we can see past it, and maybe it was just him being hot-headed. But nationwide, those comments can leave, because a lot of people don't follow the Cowboys closely. They follow what they see on ESPN or any other platform. And those comments that have gone viral will lead the perception of the narrative is now controlled coming out of Dallas. If they don't want it coming out, it's not coming out. It's only going to be the message they want filtered out of the building in the Star. That's a bad look. That is a bad look of a brand that you have built up to be able to say the things and honestly be critiqued in the media and go on and not have it feel like the questions that are being asked are questions that have been prepared. And I don't believe that's the case with Jerry, but you've at least put that perception out there. And that is a horrible look for one of the reasons the Dallas Cowboys have been one of the most covered, sought after franchises in terms of media coverage, is that there is no filter on the product. And it made it look like you've put a filter on it now. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, the Morning Huddle had a great thing going on earlier today where this is a separator type weekend in college football, and probably more so than we ever thought, as it pertains to what the final 12 could eventually look like. And it could a lot boil down to this weekend in college football. We'll discuss next, coming up right here on Extra Innings with Pledge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, sports bettors, Joe Reinigal here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, BetUS.com. You know, football is back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season. A huge offer, 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call, 1-800-MY-BETUS. BetUS, where the game begins.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-885-5588. 800-885-5588.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
GiveMeTheVin.com salutes change in the Vatican. A new pope was elected on this day in 1978, the first non-Italian pontiff in more than 400 years. Karol Joseph Wojtyła of Poland assumed the name John Paul II. The Pope-mobile is a term that's been used to describe any number of specially designed vehicles by automobile brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Fiat, Jeep, and Cadillac. And whatever it is that you call your car, we want to buy it at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Here's your chance to own Texas coastal property for your vacations and rental income. Hi, I'm Jason with Eden Development. We're excited to invite you to our exclusive one-day land sale this Saturday, October 19th, to discover coastal luxury RV sites or turnkey tiny homes. Yours for as little as $59.9. That's right, $59.9. These exclusive properties offer a resort-style pool, lazy river, community clubhouse, fishing pier, boat storage, private lake access, pickleball courts, and much more. Located minutes from the stunning beaches of Rockport and Port Aransas, these sites are perfect for family vacations or as a lucrative rental investment. This land sale is one day only. This Saturday, October 19th, by appointment only. Call now, 361-520-2380. That's 361-520-2380. Excellent financing options. Call now to schedule your private showing. 361-520-2380. That's 361-520-2380.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
This is AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6 for the perfect ride to work on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Thanks for joining me this evening, however you may be joining, especially those of y'all on our YouTube channel. Appreciate y'all taking the time, comment along. Fred Record saying he would buy some Pledge merch, maybe a hoodie. Hey, maybe I could get some Extra Innings merch. We'll have to figure that out. Billy Dial making fun of the Cowboys, saying, breakdown, they were awesome in the 70s, A's, killer in the 90s. We know as soon as Jerry's ego took over because Jimmy was winning, he can't get over it. We all know this. Listen, it's been a rough go for Jerry. This is a bad look, and as RJ Ochoa put it earlier today on the morning or on the Blitz, Jerry looks like a petulant child throwing a fit. And that is the optics of it. Whether he can come around to his senses, make nice, smooth things over, it's going to be very interesting to see. Fred Robert Casares Jr. says he would also buy Pledge merch. I don't know. Maybe I got to reach out. Sammy's, get, some Pledge hoodies, some Extra Innings hoodies. Who knows? We'll have to see what's going on with that. Note to the guys that, control all that stuff. Make some room in the budget. Get some Extra Innings gear. We'll talk about the Texans and their massive game coming up with the Packers here a little bit later in the show, but it's also a massive weekend in college football. Of course, Texas, Georgia headlines the entire weekend. But as Rob and AJ were talking about on the morning huddle, this is a weekend that could very well start to at least put into perspective or eliminate some teams from what the 12-team college football playoff could eventually look like.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoff.
I started thinking about, we're at the point of the year where now there's like full-blown elimination games happening this
every
weekend.
week. There are elimination games. It started last week, actually.
I think the Alabama-Tennessee loser is out.
Oh, yeah. Last week LSU was eliminated. They're out.
Yeah, probably. Michigan and Illinois.
Well, I can guarantee you Tennessee loses. They're done.
No, Alabama would be too. They lost to Vanderbilt, dude.
Yeah, but they beat Georgia.
Yeah,
so they got a card in the game. At least they're holding an ace. They're gonna need some other help, but at least even if they lost, I still think they might. Some weird stuff happens if, like for example, Alabama loses, but A&M wins out. They still might have a chance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but I will say they ain't going. I'm pretty comfortable they ain't, but at least they'll have a card in the game.
They ain't going. But yeah, we're starting to see these games where you lose this game, you're done. And it's it's been that way for a long time. 2 games, it's hard to get in with 2 losses, but even more now that just feels like that's there. I think there will be a 2-loss team get in, but I don't think Alabama and Tennessee are going to be one of them.
It's funny how the Big Ten is so top heavy that they haven't gone through their elimination games. Now the USC Penn State game felt kind of ish, but no, they haven't gone through the gauntlet yet. It's the SEC is going to go through it here in the next month, and then the Big Ten will start separating with the Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan trios going at each other.
I think what we've seen though is from what the SEC has done so far with this cannibalization is they've opened it up where we thought for sure there was only going to be one ACC, one Big 12 team. I don't think that's going to be the case
because of the losses.
Yeah, because and really, do we know who's good in the SEC?
Yeah, well, we know who's better.
Okay, do we know who's like a championship contender?
Yes.
Is Alabama on that list?
No.
Is Tennessee?
No.
Is Missouri?
No.
Okay. You remember at the beginning of the season, all 3 of those teams were considered to be that.
If everything shook out, but it was
Texas, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, and Missouri were the 5 SEC teams that everybody was like, these are the teams.
Yeah, but I think the last 2 you mentioned were the teams because they had a little bit of talent and a favorable schedule. You know, it wasn't that they were bringing back 20 starters and all that. You looked at, you know, Tennessee lost a fair amount, but they had a pretty favorable schedule. They got to go to OU and they could prove some stuff and they could win some early games, and they did.
Oh, Oklahoma was eliminated last week.
Yeah, OU's done. Tennessee's going to be done. That's done. Who in the Big Ten do you go, nope, not going to happen?
Michigan.
I'll grant you.
Michigan's not going to happen.
But Penn State's still full
Penn State's
force
alive.
Penn State's,
Ohio State's still alive.
Oregon's still.
Oregon. Indiana is still undefeated.
So there's
Nebraska only has 1 loss, although Nebraska and Indiana play each other this week.
So they're going to start their attrition. But SEC's attriting earlier.
Yeah. Michigan's at Illinois this week. Illinois is 5-1. They're ranked number 22 and 24. I mean, if Michigan loses another game, there's 0 chance.
And this is the great thing about this playoff, because who would have given a crap about Michigan, Illinois?
You're right.
But now this game matters, and I will go find it to watch.
Yeah, you're right. I think Clemson, if Clemson loses again, they're eliminated, and they've got, I don't know if they've got a tough game this weekend, but they play a 4-2 Virginia team, a rare ACC team with a pulse.
Clemson walks the line they're in.
Miami plays at Louisville. That's not a cakewalk game. So a lot of these teams, it's like games are mattering.
We're looking for a reason to keep Miami out. You know, I don't know why. They certainly seem of the quality to be in the top 12, but I feel like we're just looking for the reason to keep them out.
And I disagree with you that LSU's not eliminated. I mean, LSU won last week. Or Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is eliminated.
I think Ole Miss might be eliminated. And I forgot about them. They were the other SEC team. Mm-hmm. There was 6 SEC teams. And what's crazy is LSU and Texas A&M, who people didn't really consider as playoff contending teams, they're in that position now.
Because they had an easier schedule.
Now, I will say for Ole Miss, because they still have Oklahoma, they still have Georgia, maybe they can, if at 10-2, if you win all those games, maybe, but maybe. I don't see that happening. I don't see how, I just don't think they're good enough. But Texas A&M is in really good shape now because they did get that favorable schedule draw where the every tough game that A&M had this year was at home. Mm-hmm. That's starters. Now, Missouri is weaker than anybody thought they were going to be, and A&M took advantage of it. Awesome. Their road games are against Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Auburn, like the dregs of the conference, and Florida. It's like
it was knowing that coming into the season. That's why that Notre Dame game was such a kick in the nuts. I mean, you just don't. It's not going to be that hard. You just
don't have wiggle room
first
now.
Hurdle, right?
If they'd won that Notre Dame game, all they would have to do is split LSU and Texas, and they'd be in.
I completely agree. Now, good news is
if they split, it's like
what has been eliminated is certainly that the one thing that the A&M would not have been good at is they don't need a beauty contest. Because of that loss, they got to win. There's not an if, and, or but. You got to win, and that after that, you come through this SEC with one loss, even though there might have been by a field goal here and a touchdown there, and just barely here. It's hard to argue. You don't need the beauty wins like I do think the Big 12 and maybe an ACC school might need.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I also I love what we're. Oh, another team that I should mention in the ACC that is kind of flying under the radar, and I'd forgotten about them myself, but I don't know if SMU is going to lose another game. And if you go 11-1, in the ACC,
you're in.
You're probably in.
You're in, but you're the only one in. I don't think there'll be 2 in, unless you got an undefeated team.
I mean, you might have I guess they're still going to play an ACC championship game.
That is a good
if one loss SMU beats unbeaten Miami in the ACC championship game, do they both get in? I bet they do.
I get. Well, we'd have to have chaos in the other conferences. You'd have to have some split and some surprising losses.
And somehow, this is what's weird about this new scheduling thing. So SMU, Clemson, and Miami all in the ACC, could all finish the season unbeaten in conference play. So there could be an unbeaten in conference play ACC team that doesn't get to play in the conference championship
Now,
game.
keep in mind, this is in the reaction or the bounce from last year when an ACC team like Florida State
got left out of the play.
Got completely left out.
And rightfully so.
Do you get a rebound effect? Like, well, at least this, we got to let them in. Is there
I think
last year we screwed the whole conference so nobody got any money.
I
this
think
year
they would lean towards letting them in.
That was the morning huddle, and they are right. This is quite the weekend for college football. And think about, because of the 12 team, we've all kind of assumed everybody's going to be in it later. Losses aren't going to mean as much. Well, we're getting to the point of the season where losses are starting to become separators, and they're going to mean a lot. And right now, this feels like a collision course for Thanksgiving weekend for Texas and Texas A&M potentially playing each other for what could be the top of the SEC as things currently sit. Now, A&M still has a big game against LSU, but they could play each other and then play each other again in the SEC championship game a few weeks later. It's going to be a fantastic weekend, and I think a weekend where we could see some teams who are in the conversation of making the 12 start to fall back and out of it. And you're talking about teams like Alabama and Tennessee and Georgia that could have 2 losses by the end of this weekend. At least 2 of those teams could very well potentially have 2 losses, and those 2 teams could be Georgia and Alabama, or it could be Tennessee and Georgia, or it feels like a weekend that is seemingly a little bit slept on in terms of how big it could be for the college football playoff. And for that, I'm going to be locked in. This is Extra Innings with Pledge right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. It's also a big weekend of the NFL. Not only do you have the Lions and Vikings, and the Vikings once again with a test to prove how real they are, but it's also another test for the Houston Texans, who in their tests, they failed against the Vikings. They passed against the Bills. Now they get another test this weekend against the Green Bay Packers up in Green Bay. Can they pass this test? We'll talk about it next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Our good friend John Machota from The Athletic joining us. Obviously a lot made of Zeke and the dumbfounded comments from yesterday. What did you take from the Zeke media session yesterday?
So much that not only did I not write about it, I didn't even fire up a single tweet about it. That's how big of a deal I thought it was.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Awesome Tickets is your personal ticket broker. Big games, big concerts, big events. Need tickets? Stay local and call Awesome Tickets. Stop paying all those crazy fees on ticket apps. Awesome Tickets has your tickets for all the sports, concerts, any city, any event. Avoid the ticket app fees. Since 1994, Awesome Tickets is local and veteran owned. You deserve Awesome Tickets. Call 210-226-5136 or online at awesometix.com. That's awesome, TIX.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9047. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-9047. That's 800-575-9047.
Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Football is back, and what better way to celebrate than winning some cash with Sleeper Picks? Sleeper Picks is a fantasy game, but you could win real money. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If your picks are right, you win. You could pick up to 8 players to win up to 100 times your money. And Sleeper has a couple huge offers to kickstart the football season. For new users, Sleeper will match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. If you've already played, Sleeper's got discounted player projections for you every week of the season. So download the Sleeper app now and use promo code BLOCK, and your first deposit will be doubled with a credit up to $100. What are you waiting for? Download Sleeper today and use code BLOCK for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code BLOCK. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate y'all riding along with me tonight. We got Cowboys Crosstalk coming up next here on your South Texas home for the Dallas Cowboys, San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. This is presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. The Houston Texans, while the Cowboys are on a bye this week, have a massive game against the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love. They've gone 1-1 in their true test this year, even though we didn't know the Vikings were a test. The Vikings have since proven themselves, and they've got a massive game themselves against the Detroit Lions, as the Detroit Lions look to be one of the favorites in the NFC currently as one of the teams to come out along with the Minnesota Vikings and the way Brian Flores has that defense playing. But the Texans are going to have to do it, and they're going to have to do it shorthanded again. No Kamari Lassiter likely, no Jimmy Ward. Kalen Bullock, as a rookie, taken in the third round, has played phenomenally. But they've been short at safety, and Jimmy Ward has yet to be able to prove he can stay healthy. So maybe the Texans need to make a trade before the deadline for someone like Budda Baker and get him out of potentially Arizona. Just a thought, but I would definitely look into it if I'm the Houston Texans. As it pertains to this weekend against Jordan Love, yeah, it's going to be a big test. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson is back. Tavion Wicks, they've made other receivers step up and look good in the absence of Christian Watson on a high ankle sprain for a lot of the year. Jaden Reed, questionable going into it. Joe Mixon's a huge part of this, and he opens up the rest of the offense with the way that he runs the ball. So if they can get that running game going and Bobby Slowick can start dipping in his bag, the game just gets so much easier for CJ Stroud, especially when they're without one of their top offensive weapons. As a matter of fact, the leading receiver in the NFL in Nico Collins. So I think the two-headed monster of Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon especially is going to be huge for the Houston Texans to be able to control the game. That and the fact that 3 sacks last week, your defensive player of the week in the AFC, Will Anderson Jr., who is second now with the Aiden Hutchinson injury in Vegas odds for the defensive player of the year currently in the NFL, and just a sack behind the NFL sack leader all of a sudden. I think that the Houston Texans need to make a point and a statement this weekend against Jordan Love and those Green Bay Packers. This has been Extra Innings with Pledge. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM. Call your loved ones, reach out, make sure that they know you're thinking about them. Ask them how they're doing, because we never know what people are going through in their own daily lives. A phone call, a hey, how you doing, could do a lot more than you even know. This has been Extra Innings with Pledger. We'll see you tomorrow right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you want to add more fun to watching NFL games? Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Make sure you go download the Underdog Fantasy app or get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com and start playing the Pick'em game. Love playing Pick'em just about every game I play. Love winning money. You too can as well. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats like passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, field goals made. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward. Signing up is easy. Just go to the mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and